bid farewell to the Chevy Camaro, as the curtain falls on its sixth-generation production. Confronting the inevitability of endings is always a challenge, and this holds true for the iconic Camaro, which has graced roads for over half a century. The future of this revered nameplate remains uncertain, with all indications pointing towards a transformative departure from the familiar Camaro we've known. Recent reports from GM Authority and American Cars and Racing confirmed that December 14 marked the final day for the Camaro's sixth generation. A spokesperson from General Motors emphasized the Camaro's status as a passion product, citing its global fan base and its historical role in attracting generations to Chevrolet dealerships. The sixth generation, characterized by athleticism and composure, symbolized confidence on the road and dominance on the track. Despite the Camaro's nearly 60-year history and the expected excitement surrounding a performance model, there was a notable lack of fanfare from GM during the sixth generation's farewell. While a few special editions were released, the exit seemed more subdued than celebratory. Notably, the ZL1 Garage 56 Tribute provided a noteworthy acknowledgement. Chevrolet has clarified that there is no immediate successor for the sixth generation, assuring enthusiasts that this is not the end of Camaro's story. The anticipation is high for what comes next, with strong indications that electrification will play a pivotal role. Whether it takes the form of a hybrid or fully electric model remains unclear, sparking concerns among fans about the possibility of a four-door configuration. However, successful sedan revivals, such as the Dodge Charger in 2006, suggest that GM might find a way to honor the Camaro's ethos without straying too far. Despite a 110% spike in Camaro sales during the second quarter of 2023, the decision to move on from the sixth generation had already been finalized after 9 years. Regrettably, the surge in demand came too late. While the Camaro consistently earned praise for its performance and driving experience, consumers ultimately favored competitors like the Ford Mustang and Dodge Challenger. As we eagerly await news of the Camaro's next chapter, we find ourselves reflecting on its legacy. Speculations about a modern catfish design circulate, but perhaps it's best to leave such musings in the realm of nostalgia. This leaves the Mustang as the very last production American V8 muscle car probably forever. Challenger still here? Challenger got the axe. They couldn't afford to keep cramming V8s in everything. Have to meet them EPA requirements. And yet somehow Ferrari still exists. In 2021, global Ferrari sales increased to a record 11,155 cars worldwide. Yeah, I wonder how Ferrari gets away with it. Low production numbers maybe? That couldn't be it. Generally it is. They don't produce enough vehicles so they skip underneath. This happened with KTM and their dual sport bikes. They didn't move enough volume and went unregulated until the past 5 years or so, then had to crunch down with emissions on their bigger four-strokes. They were joking. Like 9 out of the past 10 commenters are in on the joke. Let me go back to my corner. I believe that it's the auto group as a whole, so they can use other brands to offset their production as well. What other brands? Ferrari isn't part of Fiat anymore since a few years. It's easy to pay the fines when your entry-level model starts at $250,000. Ferrari exists in a completely different world than the big three. Also, their newest vehicle is a hybrid V6, so maybe not as completely immune as people like to think. There's that, sure, but then they came out with that new SUV with a NAV12, and you know that's going to sell in larger numbers than the 296 GTB/GTS. Ferrari claims they won't allow the Purosangue to make up more than 20% of their total global sales. We shall see how long that lasts. They'll forget they ever said anything like that, just like how they said they would never build an SUV. Whoa, it's not an SUV, it's an FUV. TIL Ferrari makes an SUV. Sad. They also make an absolutely badass wagon too. If Dodge charged $230,000 plus per car, I don't think they'd sell as many. That said, the rear-engine twin-charged Viper they'd produce at that price point would make me nut instantly. I can't say for certain, but I've read on the forums that Ferrari either pays the fine, which isn't much, and or also doesn't create enough cars per year for it to be affected by needing to meet this requirement. The fuel economy mandate is an average across all cars. Companies that beat the average, say, Tesla, have plenty of credits to sell to the highest bidder. Of course, Being the highest bidder is easier if you charge Ferrari prices. The fine for not meeting targets is $140/mpg. Even if they are 10 miles per gallon below target, an extra $1,400 per car is no issue for Ferrari, which averages $106,000 profit per car. The new Ferrari in the mid-engine, V8, entry-level line is a hybrid V6. That and the existing LX platform reached EOL. Nope, production ended July 31st. The Brampton, Ontario plant will be retooled for future vehicles. As someone mentioned, it's the December 22nd. I meant order books closed July 31st. Sad Brampton man's noises. 21 fart can salute. Challengers in Brampton. Where you can find gaudy decals, random quote stickered on or drapery hanging on the front bumpers. Punjab decals? Tassels hanging from the front bumper? Out of province plate? That's Brampton, baby. Brampton ends production this coming Friday, December 22nd. Oh right, it was orders that closed. 2023 is the last year for the current Challenger and Charger. Some variation of one or both will return, but they'll all be some sort of EV, hybrid, and or the TT inline 6 they've started replacing V8s with. The current gen is being discontinued. There is most likely going to be a next gen with the Hurricane i6 and EV powertrains, but nothing is confirmed yet. Nothing is confirmed. They're already making the pre-production small series. It's well confirmed. Challenger heard 2024 was around the corner, and it knew it was time to go. I don't particularly care much for Mustangs, but this seems pretty fitting. I don't particularly care for the Camaro, but it's sad to see it go. Camaro. I am a bot, and this action was performed automatically. Please contact the moderators of this subreddit if you have any questions or concerns. It's not the first time. They went away a few years after they stopped making them in Canada. It'll be back. Maybe as a hybrid/EV, but you'll never see a production V8 Camaro again though. If it's a V6 hybrid 2-door, I'm okay with that as long as it's not a sedan or crossover. If they dare to make it electric, or some shitty crossover, I will personally go wherever it debuts and throw my drink at it. Corvette, does that not count because it's mid-engined, and Cadillac Blackwing are still there? Corvette doesn't count because it's always been a sports car. Wow, that's incredibly depressing. I think GM let the Camaro die. Do they could replace it with a front-engine Corvette Classic or something like that in a couple of years? I seriously doubt that. They've let the Camaro die before. GM just can't keep a good thing going. You're not wrong about GM, but the rumors are that they want to start a Corvette sub-brand, and I think that's where they are going. Yes. It's why the Mustang/Camaro/Challenger called pony cars. Edit, it's also the only one that's been in continuous production. The Camaro and Challenger have both gone away before. Give it 5 years, it'll be back as a Mach-E competitor. GM with the wild and upcoming CUV EV lineup: Blazer, Lyric, Camaro, Corvette. Blazeric, Lyric, Camaric, Corvettic. The Q is only for Cadillac lineup. You know, all of the names for their vehicles would suck less if they changed their name to Cadillac. It would only be a tiny minuscule amount of sucking less. But it would make them make sense. Sorta. True. That said, Chevy is giving all of its new EVs badges that depict the letter E as 3 battery bars. So far, it's the EV versions of the Equinox, Blazer and Silverado, which are legacy names. But one wonders if future models will deliberately have the letter E, in order to keep this motif. Camaro EV? Corvette EV? I dare not think. I think they need a few more sporty crossovers. Isn't the Corvette SUV the 6.2L supercharged? That's just what I've heard and hope for. I hope there's not a Corvette SUV. Please call it something else. Sport Utility Vet. I wish manufacturers knew they could just make new names. No way are they coming out with all new cars using gas. They announced a while ago and all new cars are EV. A lot of companies seem to be quietly walking back on their all-EV by 2030 statements from the last couple years. I wouldn't be surprised to see the same from GM as they realize the EV adoption curve was never going to continue at the ridiculous projections they had. I think Cadillac will be. The XT5, XT6, and XT4, and Escalade will have EV variants in a few years, and I could see them just not replacing the gas ones. Escalade would be the only one where the powertrain being EV might be controversial, but I don't know how many new Escalade buyers are actually towing with them. The sedans I'm not sure on. I could see them just having one EV sedan, probably the CT5 size. I don't really count the Celestiq since it's basically just a thought experiment in terms of production volume. That's what I was thinking, no more gas, but there are multiple articles stating otherwise, so I honestly don't know. Absolute shame. GM tried to make an enthusiast-focused car, failed to market it, and were near or beating the C8 with the ZL1 often. I'm not a fan of American cars nor muscle, but the Gen 6 engine and chassis are incredible. Hopefully rental companies continue to have a few. They're always good fun on business trips, even V6 version. They didn't fail to market it, everyone knows what a Camaro is. Their biggest issue was the lack of daily livability. It had a shitty, uncomfortable interior with the worst visibility imaginable. It's not an enthusiast's car, it's a daily driver for 90% of people who buy it. Enthusiasts are buying the Corvette to track. Its competitor in the Mustang is comfortable, better visibility, and completely livable as a daily commuter and a road trip machine. I also think this is the case. The Camaro is an objectively bad daily, but an incredible weekend car. The average American doesn't have weekend car money, so the Mustang always won. Aside from the visibility, daily driving a Camaro feels better than the Mustang. Give it the mag ride option and it's even better. The Mustang is loud and feels cheap inside. That's true, but the feeling of claustrophobia is a bigger hurdle for most people looking for a sporty car than a stiff ride. I think the biggest hurdle is that the Mustang is a better looking car. It kinda goes together. The inside of a Mustang is a nicer place to be. Driving the Camaro feels a bit like blindly swinging a large plank of wood around in front of you. It's a very precise and capable plank, but still a plank. IDK, I've rented both V8 versions, and I preferred just about everything about the Camaro to the Mustang. Not to say I didn't like the Mustang, just that the additional precision was exactly what I like. I agree with you, I prefer the Camaro because it's a better car. But the tight cockpit and poor visibility turn off people who are less focused on pure performance.